Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 36 of Rapid Unscheduled Discussions. I am back from a week hiatus in the northern woods of Michigan and sleep deprived, with, of course, our least favorite Cajun, Daryl Sausse.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
And
Hey, it's me. It's me, Daryl, and joining us tonight. You know him from the Answers with Joe YouTube channel. He's also the co-host, or is there a different term when it's three hosts, or is it still co-host?
Tri-host?
Tri-host. I don't. The lead host of the Our Ludicrous Future podcast, ladies and gentlemen, it's Joe Scott.
Hey.
Hey,
I
I
mean-
the other guy said that.
You do the intro, so...
yeah.
I don't know how that happened either.
I don't know
Just
either.
I think I did it on our first one just because we were like, just do something, and so I did it. And then it's like when you're a kid and you mow the lawn for your dad the first time. If you get it right, it's your job forever.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah,
I love that one,
got
too.
stuck with it.
Yeah.
I screwed
How
up
did
then.
didn't the Let's Get Ludicrous? You did that the first try, didn't you? 'Cause I think I
No. I
What's the
think
first
there
couple?
was a couple, or it was pretty early on, but I don't think it was the very first one. But it was just like an ad lib. I said, "Let's get ludicrous," and then it just stopped.
that's like literally the perfect intro. And one day I'll get my intro done. I like insulting Daryl a lot, so that's kind of the intro for now. But
For now.
Daryl, you've
Yes.
been accessed with internet the last week. So what happened this week? Give us a recap.
Well, so starting with the, I guess the biggest news so far is that the first Boeing crewed flight test is having a personnel change. What is it? The commander of it?
Yeah, Commander Scott Ferguson, who was
Yes.
commander on
He
STS-135.
stepped away, citing family reasons, which, usually we'll see as a generic catch-all for any kind of reason that somebody leaves. Now, people have speculated as to why. I mean, I don't feel the need to, because it's obviously a personal reason, and let's just leave it at that. Let's not dig into people's lives. I mean, this isn't, some drama reality TV show on TLC, which used to be a good network growing up, and now it's just
Well,
except for Dr. Pimple Popper. I do watch that.
that is the worst thing, the worst TV I've ever watched ever. Why? I don't know why you like that. That's terrible.
I showed it to Seth one day when we were all staying together for a trip. I had it on in a hotel room. What are you watching? Oh my god!
My mom watches that
Loved it. New favorite show.
religiously, and she's like, "Oh, Seth, look at this pimple," and I'm like, "I don't even like watching my pimples pop. Like, no, stop. That's terrible."
Well, it's
I'm
like,
not
we're-
surprised that it took off though, because I've many a night, and maybe I'm a normal human, and maybe I'm very not, but like 3 a.m, and you just kind of go down a YouTube rabbit hole, and it always ends on popping cysts somehow. You know,
Is that normal?
always, Seth.
Yes. Yes, Seth.
That's normal. That's not my normal 3 a.m. YouTube. It's usually.
How is that any worse from that show? God, that was like back in the '90s, early 2000s. I think it was on TLC, where they would show videos of actual operations that doctors would do, just like all kinds of different procedures that they would do. How's it any different?
Oh yeah, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, I remember that show.
Wasn't it like literally called Operation or something?
Was that back when you
like-
could actually learn something from the Learning Channel?
The shows I remember from TLC were like, Little People Big World.
That's
Was
no.
like the 12 kids. There was a family that had like 12 kids. Like
No.
those are the shows I remember. Like Johnny and Kate plus 8.
No, back
Yeah,
back
I
in
think
the,
this
back
is
in our
pre-
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Mine was early 2000s. That's when I watched TV. So.
No,
I'm
it used to
sorry.
be an educational channel. Like it had a very real educational value to it, and then it just became schlock after.
That,
like-
that's
well, it's
literally
like the
the
his-
name.
Like the
Learning-
History Channel. The History Channel used to be history, and now it's
all of them,
aliens.
basically.
Yeah.
No, the History
Sadly.
Channel used to be just like all World War II except for 1 hour a night.
That's what I remember watching was World War II all day with my dad.
It was
Yeah.
the
He
Hitler
was
channel for a while.
he was cramming for a World War II like exam one day, and it's still coming. That in Vietnam, he's been cramming for those exams since I was born. So
Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff we grew up with, and I'm sure that's the kind of thing, Joe, that got you into doing what you're doing. For those who don't know you, which anybody out there, how do you not know Joe? Yeah.
This is interesting because I've been telling people like, oh yeah, like in a few weeks we'll have Joe Scott on. Like I'm super excited. Like I've been watching these videos since like the beginning. It's gonna be great. He goes, who's Joe Scott? I'm like, how do you not know Joe Scott? Like what? And
are you saying I said that?
No, I said like people I've been like a few people.
Okay.
I'm not gonna name them out. I'm not gonna throw him under the bus in front of Joe. But Zach Hall didn't know who Joe Scott was, and I was like, and,
how do you spell that?
Exactly how you think it spells, but no K. So, oh man, yeah, no, it's I don't have you on. No, it's great.
No,
Yeah.
that's
even
that's
if you're
where we are right now, though.
It's not just, you know, there are some space related stuff that you do, both with like rocketry, deep space type of stuff, but you get into just about anything. Like I think the episode that stands out in my head the most. Zach's watching. The episode that sticks out in my head the most.
I just got that text as well.
The one about the blue people in like the mountains of Kentucky, I think it was.
The blue people, yeah.
Yeah, that one's like, what the hell? How do you?
Yeah.
All right, that's going to lead us into our
fugates,
first
that's what
question. How do you find this stuff?
Now it's just like drinking from a fire hose. I mean, I get stuff sent to me hourly, you know, in Twitter and every social media and email and comments. I mean, I'll never run out of content at this point. I mean, early on, I don't know. So you said a second ago that I cover all kinds of things. I think every YouTuber, the first thing is just getting any kind of audience for any reason. That's the hardest part. But then once you get that audience, the fear becomes, am I going to be pigeonholed? Am I going to only be able to talk about this? I mean, there's YouTubers I'm friends with. It's just like they have this kind of niche that they're in, and it works for them, and they like it and they enjoy it. But they're just like, I want to talk about something else. I just, you know, I don't want to just talk about EVs or whatever, you know, for the rest of my life. I don't know. I think I did get lucky in that I have been able to diversify a bit and talk about all kinds of other things. I mean, I eventually just kind of got to where it's like, if I think a subject is interesting, then other people will too, you know?
Yeah.
If they follow my channel, we have a similar wavelength of some sort. So, you know, if it appeals to me, it's going to appeal to somebody else. And I've been, like I said, I'm really lucky that I didn't get quite so pigeonholed. I still feel a little pigeonholed. There's some stuff that I'm, you know, just isn't right for the channel, but you know.
Like you really go into some deep dive stuff like quantum physics stuff, which I would love to understand this, but it's a little over my head sometimes.
Don't think that I do. I just repeat what what I find about it.
Nice.
In fact, the video that I recorded today for next Monday, I mean, I don't give a little spoiler or whatever, but it's for a different model of the origin of the universe. It's an alternative to the Big Bang Theory that explains away some of the problems associated with the Big Bang Theory. And this is more based on string theory. And whenever you start talking about string theory, it's just like, just get a bucket to catch the brain oozing out of your ear. Because, I mean, a lot of it's all based on math, really. But you have to explain it in some sort of physical, tangible sense, and it's impossible. It just sounds like gobbledygook, and so yeah, I do my best to get the ideas across, but even I'm just sitting here like I don't know.
now on the opposite side of that, what topic have you covered that you've absolutely embraced, that you absolutely love? Basically, what was your favorite topic to explore?
Well, okay, so
if there is one.
Yeah, I just had this conversation. Well, we were talking about this before we came on here, but the conversation I had with the history guy, I specifically asked him that question, and we kind of went back and forth on what topics we covered. So I'll repeat what I said there because that's fresh in my mind.
Okay.
But earlier this year, I covered airships, the Zeppelins and the blimps and the golden age of airships in the early 20th century and everything. And there's my dog. But it's one of those subjects that, of course, I knew what blimps were and airships and everything, but I'd never really explored the topic. And then once I did, I just became fascinated by it. It just blew my mind how the whole thing worked and how huge they were and how impactful it must have been back then, and the fact that there's still a use case for them, and we may actually see them come back a little bit, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah,
like the
stuff into space.
the terrifying videos of like Amazon airships with drones flying all out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. I want to see that over full Lauderdale so
now,
bad.
You know that's CGI. You know.
I know, yeah.
Okay, all right.
But it looks so crazy.
Yeah.
And Harry Stranger goes, the octopus video was great. It was amazing.
Oh, the octopus video, yeah.
What was the octopus video? I don't remember.
Can I talk about this? Screw it, I'm going to talk about this.
On this show? Yeah.
Yeah.
We have 9 people. You're fine.
Between us. No, it's not a big deal. It was called Cephalopods: Aliens from Earth, and it basically explored the idea that there was a second epigenesis of life on this planet. So, like, we have what is it, the last universal common ancestor, Luca, that we all came from, and there was this idea that possibly there was a second epigenesis origin of life that led to the cephalopods, because they're just so different from all the other species on the planet. And of course there was some paper that came out a couple of years ago that theorized that maybe it was seeded by some kind of panspermia or something. And so of course everybody's like, are octopuses aliens? And that got all the headlines and stuff. So I kind of followed that, and I disproved it. Yeah, I mean I debunked it anyway. But cephalopods are amazing animals, and they're extremely intelligent, especially octopuses. I still have trouble saying octopuses.
Octopi?
It's not octopi. I talked about it in a video actually.
Right.
It's the whole Greek and Latin thing. But no, they actually have. They don't just have one single brain like we do. They have like a hierarchy of brains. Like I think what is it, like 70% of their neurons are in their arms, and so they actually almost every arm kind of has like a little proto brain that feeds up to the higher level brain. So it's like a whole different kind of intelligence.
Is that
is
where the
That hurt
concept
my
of,
brain just thinking.
Is that where the concept of the thing came from for the Addams Family? You know, the little hand that would run around? Is that where that came from?
I don't know. I think it just came from they needed, well, in the original Addams Family, of course, it was like a table, so it's just a guy sticking his hand up. It's like, how can we have another character without hiring another actor? Let's use a hand.
It's spooky season, so I had to make the reference. So.
I like me some Addams Family.
Addams Family was a good
But
show.
no, the reason why I kind of was like, ooh, I spoiled something, was because I got reached out to because of that video, the octopuses video, from a lady named Laura Krantz, and she does a podcast called Wild Thing. And she's on the 2nd season. It just launched this last month. I was actually listening to it on a road trip this last week. But the first season was about Sasquatch, and the back. I'm sorry, I'm going into a rabbit hole here, but the backstory is that she had a cousin or a second cousin she didn't really know but was related to, and they shared a last name, who passed away. And long story short, she found out that this person that she was related to was like a top tier person in the Sasquatch hunting community, and had been they called him the 4 Horsemen. Like, he was one of the 4 Horsemen, like the original main Sasquatch hunting dudes. Anyway, so Grover Krantz, I think that was his name. But she kind of found that out and was like, this is fascinating. And she started following up and started going to Sasquatch conventions and meeting all the people who worked with and knew this guy. And of course, that gave her some access to some places that maybe most people wouldn't get into. But she really explored the topic of Sasquatch on a very scientific and also kind of looking at the crazies and the woo-woo level as well. Anyway, it's a great series on well, it's just a podcast. But anyway, I didn't know anything about it until she reached out to me, and I was like, people reach out to me for things a lot now, and so I didn't really think about it. But then I went and listened to her podcast. I'm like, this is freaking great.
Yeah.
Like it's really good. Like I was like, I want to talk to you. And but no. So anyway, the whole point is, sorry, this is probably gonna happen a lot tonight. The second season, which just started, of Wild Things, is actually about aliens and UFOs and stuff. And she wanted to talk to me about panspermia and some of the stuff that I brought up in that octopus episode. So there's going to be at some point an episode that she talks to me in it. So, but it hasn't come out yet.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
So let's start. What got you, like, you have a history with like films and film writing and videography, and what got you kind of like started in that, and like where did you, like, how did that lead to YouTube?
Oh my.
We don't need to date yourself. You could just, talk abstract.
So I'm old. This could take a while. No. What got me into filmmaking, I don't know. I mean, I talk about it a lot in various places, but I grew up in a really small town, and I think that maybe my relation to movies is different from most people, especially today, where you can watch a movie on your phone anytime you want. When I was a kid, it was just in the movie theaters, and there wasn't a movie theater in my hometown. We had to drive like an hour to a nearby town to see a movie. So we went to movies like once or twice a year. It was an event when I was growing up to go see a movie. Like all the cousins got together and we all went and saw a movie. We went to the picture shows when I was a kid. And I mean, I used to say that, like, me going to a movie when I was a kid might have been like somebody from, here, I live in Dallas now, but somebody here going to Six Flags or something. Like it was a whole thing. But so I don't know. I think maybe that sort of instilled in me a different level of appreciation for movies or something, or just for the narrative form, for storytelling. Being also from a small town, just not having a whole lot of friends, I guess, I just kind of started leaning into writing and storytelling, and I don't know, maybe it's just something in me that, we all have our things. That was just my thing. So again, dating myself, my God. I taught myself the screenwriting format by finding, and I still have no idea where my mom found this, but she got me a catalog of screenplays where you could order screenplays. Okay. And I don't remember which ones I ordered, but I ordered a few. I want to say Sleepless in Seattle was one of them. I've always been a big softie. But no, I may have bought a book on it, but I just kind of started writing scripts. It just kind of became the thing that I love doing. And I wrote my first full-length script at 15.
Wow.
It's terrible. It's awful. It's garbage.
What was it about? Tell us, what was it about?
About a high school kid like me.
Oh, okay.
Who was a loner, and
So you just write from experience.
Yeah.
You write what you know about it.
Yeah,
Basically.
It was cathartic, I guess. It was therapy.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, so by the time I got to college, I went to film school at the University of North Texas, and I was just kind of known as the writer. All these others wanted to be directors, and I mean, I did too, but I had already kind of carved out that angle, I guess. And so I worked on student films with other students, and I wrote stuff there, and I did all kinds of stuff. I did some acting, and never really went anywhere. I minored in advertising, and that's what I wound up getting a job in right outside of college. So I was an advertising copywriter, and then I was unemployed. Went through a series of, I don't know if everybody has this experience right out of college, but I was broke for a while, and
I'm still broke. It's been 2 years. I'm still broke.
So I just kind of, I literally, the job I got right out of college, I wound up with a corner office.
Ooh, nice.
Just because I got there and that was the empty room. So they just put me there. And of course, everybody else was pissed off. But here's this, 22, 23-year-old kid. But I got this big office, and I got spoiled because I was like, this is how it's supposed to be. And then that job went away, and I was broke for a while, and I kind of did odd jobs, and I worked for a company that did car commercials. I worked for a company that did car commercials in Spanish. Raise your hand if you don't speak Spanish.
I live in South Florida and I don't speak Spanish. I know enough to order food at a food truck in Spanish. That's it.
I took Latin in high school, so I can like translate writing to get some of the
Oh.
idea, but I can't speak it.
I took I was required to take Spanish from like first grade to 8th grade. Plus, I took 2 years in high school. I can count to like 30. Hello, my name is. How are you? That's it.
I think I learned more working at restaurants than I did in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was film? My college I went to had a film school, so I saw film from the outside, and they were like the most creative people ever. Always working on something, but I'm not sure how. That's my college is really different because my college is like you don't go to the college I went to and not knowing, because it's a 2-year program. You get thrown right in. So if you don't know what you're doing, you're screwed. You're pretty much screwed. And so how was film college like for you? Like was it always, what's the next story to write? What's the next film to try to get people together to work on? Like how was that for you?
The thing that stands out the most, as we're talking about it, is that when I was, sorry, I'm adjusting the temperature in this room because my dog's panting.
Hey, we're a dog-friendly show. We like we need our feline friends to be just as comfortable.
Yeah, well, this one he's what, 13 years old?
Canine, Seth. Canine. Canine is cat.
Feline? Oh, that's right, it's canine. That was close. 4 legs. That was close.
He does something like this every episode. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about the new Uber Eats commercials with Patrick Stewart and Luke Skywalker. He called him Mac Hamill, not Mark. Mac.
So, if I may,
that was a
Yes.
good amount of whiskey.
Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
So Daryl, were you earlier talking about the commander of the Boeing Starliner
Yes,
backing
it
down?
was.
What did
It
you
was.
call him?
What did you call him, Daryl?
I don't know. I got a brain like Swiss cheese. On.
Was it
Well,
Scott?
his name was Chris Ferguson. I think you said something.
Oh,
else.
I said Scott.
You said Scott Ferguson. Oh, okay, so it was you. All right. I was trying to back you up. I was trying to help you.
Oh no, that was me.
But if it makes you feel better, the only reason I know that is because I used to work with a guy named Chris Ferguson, and so when that news came out, I was like, "What?" Like he was on the Boeing. So
Who is Scott? I know a Scott
stuck out to
Ferguson.
me personally.
Must be a friend I had back home. Oh, Scott Ferguson. He's a film producer. Sure, that's the guy I know. I'm going with that. I'm educated.
Okay, there you go. What are we talking about?
Film college, film
Yeah,
school. How was
film
that?
school.
Like, what was
Oh
kind of?
yeah. Okay, so yeah, you were asking what that sort of culture was like and everything. So there's a couple of stories I can tell. One is that they had a TV station. All right, so I went to the University of North Texas. That's UNT. So radio stations and TV stations. Here's a random nugget of information if anybody always wondered about this. Anything east of the Mississippi starts with a W, and anything west of the Mississippi starts with a K.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know when this got started way back in the day, but that's just sort of one of the weird little nomenclature things. With the exception of, I think, the one in Chicago. What's the big WGN in Chicago?
Yeah.
But it started before this rule was passed in early 50s or whatever, something like that. The reason I bring that up is because the TV station on the campus of UNT.
No.
Oh no.
So
they changed it to KNTU.
Thank you. Chad, if anybody out there does not get it, we are not explaining that one for you.
That's always been one of my favorite little things from him. But they had a TV station. It was KNTU, and they did this thing for a while called the All Nighter, and it was literally like a 24-hour video race kind of thing. Like they would loan you a camera, and at like 8, and you could go just shoot stuff, anything you want, assuming it's not torrid or whatever. But you could go shoot whatever. And bring it back, edit it real quick, and they'll put it up on the air.
Oh, man.
And that was so much fun. It was, I mean, it was an all-night thing. That's why they called it an all-nighter. But you know, when you're 20, 19 years old, you know, your energy never ends. And so, yeah, we would run around and we would shoot stuff, and that sort of run and gun stuff was just, God, it was just a lot of fun.
I used
those,
to
those are some of my favorite memories because it was so like collaborative and it was so on the fly. You just go.
I used to
the
just
creative energy that came out was.
I had a lot of friends in the film program, and so once a year they did a film festival for it's called it's pretty much like homecoming, pretty much, for our college. They call it Hall of Fame. They induct some alumni in their Hall of Fame every year, and they have this film festival, and it's like they have my college had like these 4 decent sized film like sound stages, like indoor sound stages, massive, like they're huge. And so you get split up in 3 teams, and you have like 48 hours to produce like a 20-minute film, I think. Oh, they would build sets, and they get the cameras. I just would sit there and just watch them just build up and paint a set within like 15 minutes of like a kitchen, and then tear it all down. 15 minutes later, it would become like a office. Like, oh my gosh, like 48 hours straight. I don't know how they did it. I was in the computer programming area. We would do like we might pull like 36-hour days, but we would never pull 48-hour days. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. You guys are crazy.
That does sound insane. I've worked in theater helping build sets and strike them and whatnot, and to put them up and take them down that fast, yeah, that sounds insane.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Sorry, no, but I guess the USC film school, this might not be true anymore, but the USC film school was a film and theater school, whereas where I went to school was radio, TV, film. And I always kind of felt like film and theater was a better, you know, collaboration.
Makes sense, yeah.
Ways, you know?
It's very similar, except just the medium's different. You know, one's on stage and one's through video. So,
yeah.
But you're portraying. You can do the same story, same way. It's just how you portray.
Well, I think the radio, TV, film is focusing on the technical side of it, whereas the theater film combination is more narrative and story and
the theater's fun because those kids can party.
Oh yes. At least, I mean, the film students in my school could party. We had a bar across the street that was called the Geek Easy. It was a comic book shop that at night they opened up a fake wall and there was a bar behind it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the weirdest karaoke you'll ever hear. That's
a bold statement.
It's, I mean, you're like.
You have any Yoko Ono?
It's not your normal. It's like you're not getting up there and singing like, you know. Well, okay, I sang as Raining Men with my boss, and 2 other coworkers. Yep, that was great. All guys. We were a banging group every Friday. We were singing "It's Raining Men." So don't ask me to recite that because I don't know the words anymore. How did
the weather ladies, I think, is what the name of the band.
Yes, the Weather Girls, I think.
The Weather Girls, yeah.
Yeah. How did the film part get into? Oh wait, Haley Stranger has a question.
Yeah, let's go to that because that's actually a rare
Let's
thing.
Let's go to the audience.
Yeah.
Very rare occasion that Harry gets a question out. So, when did you get space? Like, when did you get in this you used to live stream some of the launches, right? Yeah. Like you did a few, and then you do videos on it. Like, what got you kind of like in the space and kind of got you? Is it just you're curious about everything? Like, how did that get up and going?
Well, you know, referring to the live streaming of the launches, I stopped doing that because I kept having so many technical problems, and there were so many other people already doing it and doing way better at it. Like, I mean, how am I gonna?
You can't.
Tim. I mean, how am I supposed to compare with Tim? Yeah. So it just kind of. I mean, early on, you know, you when you do live streams and stuff, there's super chats and whatnot, and so there's a little bit of a revenue stream there, but. After the channel got to a certain point, it's like I didn't need to rely on that. It was just like it just made more sense to, you know. I mean, I never did this, but I thought about actually like live streaming Tim's live stream, and like commenting on it or something. But But I felt like
That's
that would be more interesting than me doing it myself. But
I know that would actually be kind of funny. Oh my gosh, just going in
now
all
I do
this.
that now just to screw them. But
Yeah. Make it private for your patrons. Just have fun with it and just like, oh yeah, that'd be so funny.
I wonder how
for
far
me-
down that chain you could go. Like if somebody did that to me, and then somebody did that to that person, and it was just like a string of people.
That's on my head now. If you do it, I'll restream yours, and then there we go. It'll just be downhill from there.
We could do some kind of like world record or something.
The-
But no, I mean, in terms of like how I started talking about like space stuff on the channel, as the story goes, in the early days of the channel, and all these videos are still up there if anybody wants to go look. If anybody wants to watch a bunch of terrible videos, have at it. But so okay, the film thing. Let me go back a little bit. Sorry, I'm giving the whole thing. I will answer the space question. The quick answer to the space question is that I've always been a little nerdy. I had a poster of the space shuttle on my wall. I'd had like models that I had built for the space shuttle and stuff. You know, I mean, like the Saturn V you got behind you there. I had the space shuttle version of that.
Same.
I mean, I always, and I wanted to be an astronaut more than anything when I was a kid. Like that was, and maybe that's true of most. little boys.
I wanted to be an astronaut. Yep.
Yeah, I
Everyone
wanted
did.
that was what I wanted to be, and then you know some teacher along the way was like, you know, you got to be really good at math, and I'm like, oh screw it, I'm done.
I mean, I was told I'd be really good at math to be a developer, and I use a calculator. So someone wrote the code for all the math years ago, and we keep using it. So
Well, but again, it was like 1890 when I was a kid, so
gotcha,
it
makes
was,
sense.
things
That's
were
right.
different back
It was
then.
pre-electricity as well.
Yeah. I wanted to be one of the
that,
right.
that only makes me about 10 years younger than you. Yeah.
1900. All right, good year. But no, I mean, so the nerd thing was always a little bit there, you know, and it was always an interest of mine. But when I started the channel, it was meant to be a comedy channel. I had done, I had made a movie in the early mid 2000s, and I am the poster child for you fail and you fail and you fail and you fail and then eventually something works, you know. I got that first movie made with no budget whatsoever, and then I wanted to move up and do a film with a budget and some actual name actors and stuff, so tried to raise money and it just never worked, and then I wound up getting a job and that kind of makes it harder to get a film made. But anyway, you know, I tried one thing after another, and I dabbled in stand-up, I dabbled in improv comedy. There's
I can
a
see
place
you being
that
good at
there's a
that.
place that just shut down because of COVID here in Dallas called the Dallas Comedy House. That was a really big part of my life for a while, so that was really sad. But no, I did that for a while, and eventually I was just kind of like, I mean, I can do the comedy thing, and I have a film like video background, and YouTube was like, YouTubing was as a thing was like pretty brand new. I'm talking like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
So I started just doing random BS on YouTube, you know, and for a while I did something that was called Ask Joe, and it was really more for like my Facebook connections. I wouldn't even say followers; they were just my friends on Facebook, you know, and but it was on YouTube. So I would take questions from them, and I would go and just make a comedy video out of it. They rarely even really answered the question, but it would be like 6 or 7, 5 to 7 questions per video. Again, these are all still up there, so you can go watch them if you want to. But
Oh man.
they were just very rapid fire, nonsensical, just silly stuff. And I kind of just made a show out of it, and it was supposed to be interactive, and people would ask questions. And again, it was mostly through Facebook, and it grew incredibly slowly in the beginning. And then I did one where somebody asked a question. I don't remember what it was, but they asked a question, and I was like, I just did the video on that question, and I actually gave an actual answer. It wasn't just me jerking around, you know. And people seemed to like that a little bit better. I got a few more comments, which by that I do mean like 2 or 3 comments. And I was like, yay, that means the whole world to me. And so I kind of went down. I mean, it was just like, I was kind of formed by the process, you know. When one thing worked, I kind of kept doing it, and then eventually I did the one that kind of changed everything was about the Fermi paradox. And
Oh
this
yeah.
was like 2015, I think.
Mhm.
And it got like 50,000 views, and that was viral to me at the time. I'd never seen
Yeah.
anything like that before. And the subscribers that wound up coming from that, they started asking more sciencey, nerdy stuff. So I leaned into it, and yeah, so.
Yeah.
But like I said, I was kind of a nerd anyway from the beginning, especially when it comes to space travel and astronaut stuff and NASA.
So space basically just came with the territory, pretty much.
I mean, you can make the argument it probably would have wound up there anyway, because
Yeah.
that's stuff that I'm interested in. So I was gonna make videos about it. You know?
Something would have triggered your interest, and you would have made a video about it. So you got to see you've seen one launch, right, in your life?
Yeah, that's the only one.
ArabSat, which
The Falcon
was
Heavy, yeah.
still probably the craziest week of my life. That's why I went from meeting no one in the space industry, like in the space Twitter world, like photographers and reporters, to like I got to meet like everyone in a week, which was just so weird.
Same.
And
I think
but,
that was
like,
the first person I met was that week.
yeah, that's where we met for the first time that week, and like a whole bunch. Yeah,
Yes.
and oh gosh,
I met Tim for the first time that week when Seth.
Really?
I think that's where you and I first met at that brewery.
yeah, at the brewery for the where we talked about we talked about like apps, and we were talking
Brandy
about,
Alexander's,
yeah, wait,
which I almost made one, but I don't have any brandy.
Brandy Old Fashioned.
Oh yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
Brandy Old Fashioned.
Brandy
Wow.
Old Fashioned, which
Okay.
I have Corbel.
Who's
my-
Brandy Alexander?
Yeah, what is the Brandy Alexander? I don't,
Do a Google search, see who comes up.
oh, I don't want to.
Okay.
You can search that one up, Daryl. You got
Ooh.
because you got in with the Tesla group, right? Right? You got in with the,
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
Tesla
yeah. That
viewing
was.
party.
So I don't remember how that happened. I don't know if
Oh.
Ben pulled a string or something or what, but no, I was scheduled to watch it from that public, the bleachers or whatever. It was
Oh
over
yeah,
there.
that's right.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Feel the Heat package at the 75
Yeah.
Center. Yep.
And it was scrubbed that first day.
Yep.
So I went there that day and I hung out there, and then the next day, some string got pulled and I got to go to the Tesla thing, and yeah.
How was that? Like, what was your experience like viewing of all launches of Delta? That rocket stuck in my mind because it's someday.
That's on everybody's mind. right now.
Someday the Delta Heavy will launch.
Right.
But of all launches to see your first one, Falcon Heavy, which was actually my first launch as well from Orlando. I got to see the demo from Orlando. Like, how was that? Like, what was your emotions like viewing that, or what was going through your mind while you're watching?
Well, you know, when you watch it on your computer screen, which I had done many times, you get those beautiful shots that are right up close, and you see the flames right in your face, and you're a part of it, you know. And then there, it's like, I think it's going up. There's a little glow underneath, but maybe that's the sun. I don't know.
Now that event that you ended up seeing it from, where was that at? Was that at the Exploration Tower in the port?
Is that what that was called?
The tower. Yeah, you were at
It
the
was
tower.
a tower, yeah, and I
Yep.
was up
Okay.
on like a deck on the top.
Yeah,
Okay.
Excavation Tower. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be at the Saturn V Center, and I was there.
Oh, here we go again. Daryl talk about a
Yeah.
rocket that he missed.
At
This
launch
comes
pad-
up every couple episodes that we talk about a rocket that he had to walk away from.
Don't mock his pain.
Oh, I mock his pain very much so.
He does.
But I
really.
got a lens out of it, which was pretty cool. So cruel
Yeah, you
business deal that I had his lens and he was in Louisiana, and I go, hey, how much for the lens? I already had the lens in my possession, so I had all the power in my hands.
What you gonna do about it?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
viewing.
I-
It's always interesting viewing people who see launches for the first time. Like I feel like sometimes their expectations are really high or their expectations are extremely low. And either way though, like their reactions are always like the same. They're always amazed still. And especially for like when it's a return to launch site like the ArabSat or STP-2 or a CRS mission. It's the sonic booms are always like the coolest thing.
Yeah. Well, the sound in general kind of surprised me. I mean, I know rockets are loud, but as far away as we were, it was still like, that's loud.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and the crackly.
Falcons are incredibly loud. Just the single stick ones are incredibly loud. So I can only imagine what the heavy would have been like had I still been at the Saturn V Center.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Daryl.
Well, I will say the one thing. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your mocking. That's a very important part of the show. I'm getting it now. But the sonic booms and the rockets coming down and landing. Again, okay. Let me put it this way: the launch, outside of the sound, less impressive than watching it on your computer because of all the nice shots and everything.
Yep.
The landing, more impressive, because you see they are literally just falling out of the sky.
Yep.
And it is not until like the very last second that those engines kick on. You're just like, oh my god! Like it's insane to see it in real life.
Arabsat was probably for the longest time my favorite launch, until SciComm 1B, which was the polar launch and return to the launch site. It's a single stick rocket, but because I was at the beach, Cocoa Beach area, it goes right over your head.
Oh, cool.
And then all of a sudden it comes back, and you're just like the closest I've ever been to like a booster returning to land. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just falling. It's not gonna make it. It's not gonna make it. Oh my gosh, it made it. Every single time I watch it, I've watched it happen several. Like, it's not gonna make it. It's not. Oh my god, it landed still. Oh my gosh.
It's funny because the camera angles that they have. Of course, as a film guy, I love the camera stuff. But it looks so. They got the coolest camera angles, and you would think that would give you the coolest perspective on it. But no, it's actually being there and seeing it just
fall.
It's just falling at terminal velocity.
Yep.
And it's as tall as a building, just falling from the sky. It's unbelievable.
It's like it's a skyscraper with the walls as thin as a can of Coke.
Yeah.
Just falling at terminal velocity, and at the last second, just like, yep, light the engines. Boom.
Like what do they say it is? Like a 12 or 15-story building, something like that.
It's something massive. It's but it's huge. And being next to one is even crazy.
And in two of them at the same time. I mean, that's
I got to go to a good one, I have to say.
Yeah, you got really like that's if you're gonna
I'm
go
pretty
to
much
one,
spoiled from this point forward.
If you're gonna go to one launch, like a Falcon Heavy is one.
That was the corner office right out of college of launches.
Pretty much.
Spoiled forever.
The only thing that can probably beat that is probably a Delta Heavy at night. That's probably the only one that can beat it. And
is that ever gonna happen?
Is it going to happen? I don't know. All I can say is Parker Solar Probe was just phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
You know what they should do? If something happens with it again, they should shoot for the October 31st Saturday launch date that the Crew 1 just had, and on the orange paint like Jack.
Oh my gosh!
That would be great.
So
what's the payload for this one that you're referring to?
It's classified. It's a National Reconnaissance Office one.
But for something this big, it's like some kind of either a signals intelligence satellite, or if it's an imaging satellite, it's some people say it's like the equivalent of the Hubble, except it points the wrong direction, points down instead of up.
Yeah, because that's pretty much what Hubble was. It's just a keyhole satellite that points the opposite direction. And all the stuff we get from that. Imagine if we had more of those. Like, there's probably like 20 of them in orbit right now that we could have just flip them the other way.
That we know of.
That we know of. Yes.
That we know of.
I just pulled 20 out of my back pocket, so I have no idea.
Spy satellites are some weird things. Like I've heard a couple of stories here and there about how weird they get. Like there was one that supposedly went to chase down a Russian spy satellite, and it got within a foot of it. So if it had any kind of robotic attachments on it or anything like that, it could reach out and just screw with their satellite a little bit if it wanted to. Oh, that's a nice solar panel you have there.
Well,
it could do something like that.
Something happened to it.
So
there you go, Joe. There's an episode idea for you.
I've been listening to The Space Above Us, and I got to STS. What was it, STS-1 or 2? I think it was STS-1 finally. Finally got through Skylab and Apollo, and finally got to this STS-1. And I was listening to it on the plane, and I started laughing because it was they had tile damage backed by the orbital maneuvering thrusters, OMS, whatever. I can't remember what the acronym is, but the OM thrusters. Sure, whatever. I don't shuttle. Oh, so many acronyms with NASA, but they didn't know they had tile damage on the bottom, and they just said, well, the people at the DoD, the powers that be at the DoD said, hey, just point the shuttle in this certain direction, and don't ask questions. And it was like, yeah, I can't remember what book he quoted, but I need to go back and get that book because he goes like, there were NASA engineers with photos of tiles that they couldn't explain how they got those photos.
Yep.
And they did the same thing with STS-2, and they were just like being told from people like, nope, the tiles are fine. How? Don't ask. Don't ask. Just don't.
Trust us.
Just trust.
So what does that say about the narcissism of the human race that we have like 20 Hubbles up above us and 19 of them are pointed down?
Yeah.
Watching ourselves.
If how much we could do with 20 Hubbles, like how much more great photos we could have gotten, and how many more. Well, I this probably won't happen, but maybe at the end of their lifetime, it'd be nice if they get handed over to NASA. I'm like, well, they're not useful to us anymore, but we're not bringing them down, so just flip them around. Yeah. But
you probably get some what do they call it when they use several different pictures to.
Yeah, what they use with the black hole.
But like combine all of them to get it's one big dish.
Yeah, like an array of satellites. Array of telescopes, sorry.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
Yeah, it's an array. Array is multiple things. They have them here on Earth. I think that's right. Hey, I'm smart. I graduated second in my class.
I got array right.
Don't ask how many people were.
Any other plans to go to launches? Are you interested in any?
If COVID wasn't going on, I probably would have gone to the Demo 1 mission this year, just because that was kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
I think it's true for a lot of people actually, but I mean, let's say yes. I would definitely go to one again for sure.
Okay.
I don't have any plans right now, but yeah.
I don't think many people. Yeah. Don't go to let's not make plans right now. Yeah. For the near future, but
I mean, maybe there's some stuff to see at Boca Chica. So.
Oh, I can't wait to do road trips to Boca Chica because I'm already planning on that. Hopefully,
I might make one myself.
So that's gonna be.
Boca Chica is the same drive as it is to get to Florida for launches.
I say that like it's close or something.
I've been telling people all the time, like Boca Chica is the next Kennedy Space Center. Like that's the next spot.
I've wanted to do a video for a while where I could maybe talk to somebody about what their long-term plans are for Boca Chica or speculate on it, but they're pretty tight-lipped about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the places they're pretty. That and McGregor, I think, are the two places they don't talk at all about at all. Yeah. So.
Now, McGregor's not too far from here, but.
Yeah, it's sad, yeah. The only thing that sucks about McGregor is that they don't say anything about McGregor. You really have to know your TFRs and your notices and all that stuff to know if they're going to be test firing something. Yeah. But or live in the area and just hear it.
Speaking of companies that are really tight-lipped about stuff, quick little news thingy. Blue Origin is going to do something tomorrow. They're going to do a thing.
They're going to do a thing. Maybe they might do a thing. Possibly. Yeah.
No, seriously, their New Shepard should be making yet again suborbital attempt tomorrow morning-ish.
Joe, how far away are you from? I think it's Van Horn, Texas, I believe.
Very far.
Okay.
Yeah. That's way out in West Texas.
That's like West Texas.
Yeah. All right. Here's a good question to talk about. You have a lot of things on your background, right?
Ooh, yes.
What?
I got a question about it too. So
what is like a hand coming up? And spiders.
You have some space stuff behind there. You have some. What's your favorite thing that you have as your in your backdrop?
Well, I mean, so
the sexy nurse hat.
Okay, you know what? Let me explain what all this stuff is.
Yes.
All right. Well, my fat head's in the way. So the top level is kind of mostly these three cubicles are just kind of me stuff, right? typewriter because I've been a writer since forever. There's Charlie Chaplin and Albert Einstein in that picture.
Interesting.
Well, okay, so my aunt, when I was a kid, gave me, it's not, sorry, I thought I had the real one on the floor over here somewhere. Anyway, sorry. No, she gave me a picture, that picture, in a different frame, in a different presentation anyway, when I was a kid, because I was a nerd and I was into like space stuff, but also I was Mr. Comedy and I was like a cut up and everything. And in fact, when I was a kid, I did this like Charlie Chaplin routine. I don't know where this came from, or I guess I was a big fan when I was a kid. So I would put on the little Hitler mustache and the hat, and I would walk around with a little cane, and everybody thought I was cute. So she gave me that very picture, and it's the two of them. Oh, also my birthday is the same as Albert Einstein's, so it just happens. But that's them leaving a movie premiere, I think one of Charlie Chaplin's movies. So years and years later, I had already kind of started the channel, and I started kind of going down the path that it's on now, and I went back to my dad's place and I saw that picture and I was like, that is so weird. That's like so perfectly encapsulates what I'm doing right now, you know? So again, I brought it home with me, but I don't remember where I put it. The original one that my aunt gave me when I was a kid. It's here somewhere. But anyway, that's just a printout, very badly framed with a nice little white splotch across the top there. And then there's, of course, there's my accolades. my proof that I'm so good. But all the stuff on the second level down here, these are actually little totems that represent Patreon supporters who have been supporting for a certain amount of time and have donated a certain amount of money over that time. Nice. I want to make sure and kind of make them a part of what I'm doing. So that's what all that stuff is. None of it is necessarily related to me.
Gotcha.
And this one right here, this cubicle changes out. There is a level on Patreon where people can like own that cubicle.
Oh.
And sometimes it's empty and I just have books back there. But right now, a Patreon named Sarah Britton, those are 2 books that she's written. So I've got those up there. And it's kind of unfortunate because you can't really read the titles. Like I would love to be able to help her sell her books, but you can't really read it. But she's a nurse and she works in a COVID ward. So I wanted to give some, you know.
Now I feel like a jerk for
no. The sexy nurse
hat. About the nurse hat.
You probably wouldn't mind being called sexy. I don't know. The reason I made that face when you said that is because, excuse me, like right after I put that up for her, so, the stuff you see in your comments. Some guy in the comments said something about, is nobody going to talk about that Klan hat?
Oh.
In the background.
What? How?
Or he didn't word it like that, but it was something like why do you have a Klan hat on your shelf? And I responded with like, because it's a nurse's hat.
What?
Wow.
Clearly he hasn't been to a lot of Klan rallies.
Obviously he hasn't. Yeah, obviously.
What a loser. No. Anyway, that was again the comments that you see sometimes just like wow.
So there was one thing on the actually 2 things now in the second row that's caught my attention. One, it's a TARDIS over your left shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then over your right shoulder, far to the right, is that an identity disc from Tron? From the Tron Legacy?
Well, it's the disc from Tron. Is that what they call it?
Oh yeah, the disc.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Proud of myself for
I can see you've added I saw in the video you added Cybertruck in there. Is that from who made a 3D printed Cybertruck? I saw it on Twitter.
I feel bad because I don't remember the guy's name who sent me that.
It's okay, I don't remember the guy's name either.
So I'm sorry, fellas, gentlemen who sent me that. But it was like an early prototype, so luckily kind of dark back then, you can't see. It's starting to fall apart on me. It's like things that are coming unstuck, and I keep trying to push it down, but I'm afraid that if I push this side down, the other side is going to pop up. And anyway,
super glue.
It's managing.
Just super glue.
But and this down here, it's not really a part of the display. Like normally you can't really see this far down, but that was the 30-meter telescope in Hawaii. It's a model yeah, just a model. They sent that to me, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
And next to that, is that like what's left of a gator from Florida or
This
something?
thing? Oh, that's just a guitar strap.
Oh,
Okay.
other than that, I had something else.
That's just a thing on my shelf.
Okay, that just the way it was lit up and the way it looked, I'm like, is that did he go gator hunting in Florida?
No.
No, we don't hunt gators in Florida. We hire them as secretaries,
Security.
and as security, secretary and security. We'll put them in nice little polo shirts and pants and throw them on the secretary desk, but or just throw them in the water in security.
So when you hire them as secretaries, are they the kind of secretaries at the end of the day they say, "See you later, alligator"?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we say after a while crocodile, and they walk right out. You know, they get a little pissed off when we come.
Yeah, I'm about to say they're probably offended by that.
Yeah, they are. But
Does it look like a crocodile to you?
they're tough. They're tough. They have some thick skin. So.
Ha!
Wow.
Oh, that one.
All
I'm
the bad
actually-
jokes.
I'm actually pretty proud about that one. That one just came up
Love
top
it.
of my head.
You're too young to tell dad jokes like that.
No, I love dad jokes. They're coming. We should put a dad joke bot in our chat. That's what we should do. You just do, well, exclamation point.
Dad joke inbox.
Exclamation point dad joke, and it sends you a dad joke.
Wow.
I was about to call it what the proper name is. It's called a bang, but
A bang?
well, apparently when you put it in front of something, at least in programming, it's called a bang.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at least that's what we call it in my office. So, but it causes some really weird conversations.
Oh, Brandy Alexander is an actual cocktail. Just
What
so
is
you
it? Oh, please enlighten us. What is it? I'm assuming it has brandy in it. Otherwise, that'd be just a flat lie.
It is a cocktail.
Hang on, I got to get through the weird story that comes before every recipe you find on the internet now.
Which one is it this time? Please share. Don't share your screen. Just share.
My
what the title
husband
is.
lost his foot, and then
For me, it's always like, 25 celebrities who are like now dead. She didn't know, and I'm like, oh, well, now I have to know. And then there are 25 celebrities I'd never heard of.
So it's cognac, cream de cocoa, and cream, garnished with nutmeg.
Oh.
I've had one before. They're good.
Okay. Now the name Okay. Yep. Okay. I've heard of Alexander before.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I need to have one. Those sound good, especially brandy. And it has to be Korbel brandy because Korbel is Wisconsin. Apparently, I learned that over half of Korbel. If you guys don't know what Korbel is, it's a type of brandy. Obviously,
I thought it was a type of champagne.
Yeah, it's a sparkling. Sparkling wine.
They make oh my godfather lives in Napa, California, and yes, it's sparkling wine, not
Sparkling
champagne.
wine.
They are very strict about that. No,
Yeah.
Korbel also makes brandy. Over half of their brandy production goes to Wisconsin.
So when we met and you were talking about a brandy old fashioned, I mean, I've had brandy, but it's not something that I keep in my shelf or anything, you know. And I didn't know that there was such a thing as a brandy old fashioned. It was tasty. I enjoyed it.
It's very good. I don't remember if I hadn't made it right, because the right way to do it is you gotta have a cherry, muddle it, orange peel, orange slice, muddle it, and you put sugar in there as well. To make it's very sweet in Wisconsin. We make them very, very sweet.
Yeah.
So,
Anything you got to muddle, I avoid just because, I've been a bartender before and I still have a lot of bartender friends who absolutely hate making any of those kind of drinks.
Muddling is very common. If you don't like muddling, do not be a bartender in Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying it's
almost
bad.
every drink is muddled in Wisconsin. The ones that are annoying are the ones that are layered.
Oh, yeah.
Those where you have to use the accurate spoon to layer it on. Those are the pain. Those are so
Down
bad.
here, it's mint juleps. They hate making those. Somebody orders one of those. They're tasty, but you better tip them good if you order in one.
So you're in New Orleans, or
Yep.
Louisiana, or
Yep, in New Orleans.
Sure, you said earlier. Yeah, my wife and I went there, and we found the Absinthe Bar somewhere down there near Bourbon Street. And I'd never had absinthe before. And I mean, if you're going to be the Absinthe Bar, you got to have to put the time into making an absinthe. But like it's the ritual around it that I like so much. You know, you put the sugar cube in the thing, and you light it on fire, and it drips down. It's just like, oh, it's like this whole thing.
I need to come to New Orleans and do it right. Last time I was in New Orleans, I was like under 18. Oh no, I was 18, and I was with a church group. So we didn't get to do much.
That's the wrong way to experience.
We walked
Nothing
down
against churches and their groups, but
we walked down Bourbon Street, but like during the middle of the day, which was still busy. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you still see some stuff middle of the day.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Oh, my highlight of that trip is there's a guy I saw him I was there for an entire week. I saw him at least 4 times that week in different areas of the city, dressed up fully like a captain. He had the hat, the shirt, white shorts, the boating shoes, like topsiders, and everybody called him the captain. That's what he went by, was hey captain or hey cap. No one, I don't know, I want to be, and he was probably in his 60s. And like maybe older. I'm like, when I'm 60, I want to be that. I want to walk around in a captain suit and just drink whatever the really tall things are.
The hand grenades?
Hand grenades, yeah. That's all he would walk around with. Like, I don't know if those are good or not, but he looked like he was enjoying life.
They will make you hate life the next day.
Oh, I bet.
They're not fun. So when both of y'all were here, did either of y'all come across the guy that it says he knows where you got your shoes?
No. Oh, was like a side performer type thing, like a street performer?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay, was it a drunk guy just yelling off random shoe names?
He's a shoe.
There's a very good chance he might have been drunk. Yeah. I mean,
it is New Orleans. Everyone's pretty much drunk. Yeah.
No, as a fair heads up for anyone else who might come to the city, this guy is going to make like a $5-10 bet with you. He says, "I'll bet you $5 I can tell you where you got your shoes." Like, all right, tell me, you got them on your feet.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, here's my money.
Oh, people do it.
Oh, I don't even know.
Well, the captain thing.
Because I think it's cute.
The captain thing was that like a street guy, or was he just like part of the?
I don't know. He just kept showing up. Like we went down Bourbon Street. I saw him walking down. We went to what's the place to get? Oh gosh, you're gonna kill me, Daryl, for not knowing the name of the pastry or the place you get it from. The really famous French pastry you get it. The really popular.
What's in it?
Oh,
beignets.
Beignets.
Is it beignets?
Oh yeah, beignets.
Yeah, beignets.
Yeah. I don't remember the really
powder on it. And...
Yeah. I don't remember what's the name of the No, Harry, don't bring up that word. I saw that in the corner of my eye, and no, I don't like that.
Joe, I don't know if you're watching chat, but in chat,
I'm not.
Our friend Harry brought up the name of the NASA facility that we have here in New Orleans, which a lot of people have trouble pronouncing. Did you know we had one here?
I mean, I kind of assume that there's a NASA facility in every state somewhere.
There's not one in Wisconsin. Wisconsin is the farthest thing from space possible.
Well, I mean, it's Wisconsin.
Yeah, no.
There's companies that will make stuff and do stuff for NASA, but no, this is a legit facility. Like, they built the first stage of the Saturn V here. They built the external tank of the space shuttle. They're building the core stage of SLS here. So it's a really big deal. But a lot of people mispronounce the name.
Do you pronounce it Michiud?
That's close.
Yes! The northern me can pronounce words.
Oh.
But, what was that? Well, I forgot what I was talking about. No, like, we what's the fancy pastry shop you get beignets at that everyone goes to as a tourist place?
Oh, Café du Monde.
Café du Monde, yes. Yeah. And he was there when we went there. We went to, I can't remember where, it was, somewhere along the river. And there was a little bar there. And he was hanging out with his, that's where I heard him first get called the captain. He walked up and goes, "Hey, how's it going, Cap?" I'm like, "How's it going? Good." I'm like, oh my gosh, like
a bar on the river.
By the river, I don't remember. I remember there was water, a lot of walkways, and a weird bar. Like, I don't know. It's New Orleans, but
a weird bar by the river.
Yep, that could be anywhere down there. I know. So
well, when we talk about the captain, it makes me think of a guy here in Dallas. He just goes by Bob. And I have a theory that like if you, they say that success is 99% of success is just showing up, kind of thing.
Oh, and also like you gotta dress the part as well, like.
Well, this guy doesn't really dress like anything, but he's just there's an area of Dallas that's like where all the bars are and stuff. It's called Deep Ellum. Back in the day, it was a big blues kind of area. It's on Elm Street, and it became Ellum, Deep Ellum for some reason. Anyway, but anyway, so like, I mean, for 20 years at least, if you go down to Deep Ellum on any given night, Bob's there, and he's just this guy. He's not homeless. He lives somewhere, but he basically walks around with a keyboard, a little Casio keyboard thing, and just like plays music, and will just like start conversations with people and stuff. He's a little, I don't know what the right word is, developmentally. What's that?
Out there.
Out there,
but I mean like mentally challenged, sort of. Not. I don't know what the right word is anymore.
Yeah, no, I have no idea either.
Yeah, he's got some cognitive difficulties, let's put it that way.
Okay.
But he's famous. Like, everybody knows Bob, you know, because he's just there all the time.
Oh my gosh.
And he's a nice guy. There's nothing wrong with him. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him, but he's anyway, when you talked about the captain, it made me think of that. Like, just people who just show up all the time, then, you know, eventually you become famous for just being there, you know?
We had a guy named Jim at the bar I worked at when I was in high school. You know, just showed. I worked at a country bar, which in Wisconsin that's a party bar. Country bar is a party bar, so they're fun. They're great to go to, and they actually don't play country music 24/7, which is a misconception. They actually have DJs who just will play music to the people they like. But there was a guy, Jim, showed up, cowboy hat, big old belt buckle. And I know it was Milwaukee, which is the farthest from country. Like, Milwaukee's a big city. It's not, I mean, we're about 30 minutes away from the country, but like still, like we're in the city. But he strolled in all tough and all like chewing tobacco, and he was the rough, tough country boy who was probably 70. Yeah, it was every Friday, Saturday night he was there, and
so we've all got our guy.
First one there, he would be there at 4 p.m. and he would leave at 3 a.m. every Friday, Saturday night. Man. So, all right,
we should all be so lucky.
Yeah.
Sadly. So, anything else, Daryl, you would like to talk about? Because we are at the 1 hour and 10-minute mark.
Oh my gosh, went long.
I didn't know how long this was supposed to go.
Sometimes they're 45 minutes, 30 minutes. Sometimes they're 2 hours. It kind of just depends on the guest.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, this guy needs to stop talking.
I think that.
Yes, that's where we just. I can just put him in the waiting room, and then we're just done. You know. So.
I'm good. Joe, you got anything you want to plug? You got Answers with Joe YouTube channel, our Ludicrous Future podcast. What's the release days of new content for both of those?
We record our Ludicrous Future on Thursdays, but they come out on Fridays. So every Friday for that one, and the Answers with Joe is Mondays. So and randomly on Thursdays. I used to do twice a week, and then eventually. What's the rule that like the amount of time it takes to make something will fill the amount of time you have to do it, no matter what? I'm maybe butchering that a little bit, but
that makes
point is.
It does make sense.
That makes sense.
But what I mean though is like if you give yourself a week to do something, it will take a week to do it. If you give yourself a day to do the same thing, you'll get it done in the day.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like the amount of time it takes to do it will expand to the amount of time that you give yourself to do it.
Yep.
Kind of thing. And the reason I say that is because I used to do 2 a week. I would do Mondays and Thursday videos, and I was fine. I mean, it was a lot of work, but I was fine with it. And then eventually I got to where it's like, nothing. I think I'm going to go down to just Mondays now. And then every once in a while I'll throw in a Thursday one, you know, thinking that would free up so much more time to like write a book and do all these other big projects and stuff. And no, somehow I'm still taking the same amount of time to get 1 video out a week as I was doing before to get 2 videos out a week. I will say though, the videos have gotten a lot longer. They used to be they used to be between 10 and 15 minutes. Now they're beating 20 almost every time. So They're
It's just-
becoming more like in-depth, deep dive kind of things.
You're becoming Tim. Oh wait,
I became
you
Tim
at
last
least
week.
at least you're coming up every week. So I mean, at least that's good.
Oh, there's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, last week's video was 15 minutes long.
I think 15 minutes for a deep dive is good. 15 to
No,
20
50.
minutes is. Oh, 50? Was it really 50?
Like
I
almost
obviously
an
did.
hour.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, I mean, you are Tim. Just call yourself.
I will say
Let me scroll back up on your channel. Hold on, I'm at the very bottom of your video list on YouTube.
Oh no.
The Art of Seduction. I'm gonna check those out.
The Art of Seduction.
That's really on your
Oh,
channel.
wait. Is there like a red background on the thumbnail?
Yeah.
Okay, so I talked about the failed film projects that I had for a long time. That was one of them. It was a project called Serendipity Moon, and actually somewhere around there is the little teaser that I shot for it, which I'm very proud of. It actually turned out really well.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Right next to him.
No, feel free to watch that one because
Okay.
I like so rarely when you shoot something, does it actually come out pretty much the way you saw it in your head.
Mhm.
For me anyway, it's always like compromises and negotiations but that particular one, like when it was done, I was like, that's what I saw in my head. I think that's the first time I've ever been able to do that. So I'm proud of that one. But I did all these little, I was trying to raise money. I think it was an Indiegogo campaign for that one. But yeah, that's what all those little Art of Seduction things are. It's like me and a couple of other, actually I'm not even in those. It's the actors that I had that we were going to do this movie together. They're playing their roles and just like I said, channel used to be a totally different thing.
Well,
Yep.
good on you for still leaving them up at least. You know, not being.
No, I
gotta get rid of this past of mine and take him down.
No,
good
I
on
appreciate you
for
saying
leaving
that
them up.
because I think it's important to show that we don't. I mean, you don't start at the top or wherever it is I am now. I'm not at the top, but you don't start here. I started in the exact same place as anybody else that started on YouTube, and it's a struggle, and I threw spaghetti at the wall and tried all kinds of things, and some of it's utter garbage, but I leave it up there to show that that's where we all start,
You're in
Good.
like famous
on you,
person
Pat.
purgatory. You're transitioning between not being famous and being like where. Are you on famous was it called famous birthdays or something like that?
Actually, it's funny you say that. I got an email from them like 2 days ago asking me to like send them some information or something.
I was gonna say because I remember like people were like, oh, I made it on famous birthdays. That means I'm famous, and I'm like, I guess that's the exit of famous person purgatory, I guess. But,
Yeah.
You're getting there though. I mean, 963.
Hey,
not bad.
here you are.
Over 900,000 subscribers.
I will not list off your birth date, but
Am I in there?
yeah, no picture. You're a YouTube star. That's what you are.
Hey, look at that.
That is what I can boost you.
Well,
I don't know how to boost you.
this kind of came up
I
earlier.
just boosted you.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that does, but I just did it.
Now I'm it's a really weird I guess media landscape that we're in right now, and it's obviously just going to keep getting more weird, or it's not going to be so weird anymore because it becomes normal, but everything's so fractured and splintered right now, and so it's really funny because like when somebody recognizes me, and it has started to happen a bit more lately, although wearing a mask all the time has kind of kept that from happening probably as much as it might be, but when somebody meets me out in public, I am like a celebrity to them.
Mhm.
But the everybody else in that room is just like, who's this guy? You were talking about that earlier a little bit about somebody, but it's a really, they call it micro fame, and I think that's probably the right word for it, or targeted fame or something, because like it's weird.
Yeah, that is a
adjusting to it.
weird concept. It's like you're famous to somebody. It's not like a micro fame. Like
Yeah.
You can meet one celebrity and another person meets the same celebrity. Like, who's this guy?
Hey,
Yeah.
I randomly had this. I signed someone's poster I gave him because I don't think he was a fan, but I don't know what he was a fan of. But we gave him a poster, and I was out there. I don't remember where I was. I was at Jetty Park. We were watching we were waiting for I think it was in-flight abort capsule to come back in the port. And me and two other people who are part of the outreach group that I do. He's like, "Oh, can you sign my thing?" And he was so thrilled that I'm like, you don't even know me. You just met me, but okay, it's interesting.
Wait, but why was he asking you to sign it? Because he watched this?
I don't know.
Oh.
Just we gave him a poster, and he goes like, "Oh, so cool. Can you sign it?" I'm like, "Okay, sure." Like, I don't think he knew me. I think he just wanted to sign because he thought we were famous.
So how'd that make you feel? Did that put a pep in your step, or was it just kind of like, what the hell is that?
A little bit of both. It was like, oh man, he thought that we were worth something. Like, signature was worth something. Also, it was like, that guy's so weird because I don't know why he wants this.
Yeah.
I think at the time I had like, I don't know how many. I still don't have. I'm still under 700 followers. So like, I wouldn't say I consider myself popular that where he would find me, but yeah.
But you know what?
I'm famous to that one person.
But let me say this though, honestly. I mean, when you're small, and somebody is a fan, you have fans. If you have 700 followers, somebody out there is a fan of yours, and there's something even stronger about when it's like a hidden gem, when it's something that nobody else knows about. It's this secret, and that endears them to you even more. You know what I mean? And it causes them to kind of root for you even more. I think you're the underdog. You know?
I am the underdog. I am so the underdog.
You're under a dog right now.
I'm under the underdog.
No, you're definitely getting more and more of them, and I mean, for anybody out there listening who doesn't know about Joe, now you do. You know, go check out his work. You know, give him a like and subscribe on YouTube, and support him on Patreon because he does some amazing stuff. Not just with Our Ludicrous Future, but you know, with Answers with Joe. I mean, you do great stuff with them too. But Answers with Joe, you know, you go find out all these kinds of crazy, like off the wall topics that Joe goes and finds out about. It's absolutely nuts, and I absolutely love it. So
I warp my brain so you don't have to.
I think that's a good transition. So you guys obviously don't know Joe. Leads links to his Twitter is in the bio. Of course, the @ below his name on the stream. And if you guys like us and want to keep following what we're doing, you can like, subscribe. It always helps, and hit the notification bell, and I don't know all the other stuff that YouTubers are supposed to say. And
you need to script this stuff out, Seth.
No, I don't script.
You'll just memorize it after a while.
Yeah, someday. And if you're listening, leave a review. Reviews help, and we'll see you guys all next week.
Yep. Next week.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. See ya.
Thank you, Joe.
Bye.